Yo, what's up, guys? It's Lungi. Let's take a look at our Sangan Tenpai deck profile. Came first at locals today. Deck performed amazingly. It's probably going to be the best deck coming into the next format in the TCG in the next few months. And I actually think it's the best deck in the OCG. So let's quickly take a look. All right, so we're going to be playing 3 copies of whites, 3 copies of red, and then 2 copies of green. White and red are both one card OTKs. White searches or sets a Sangan spell a trap. That's a field spell with a quick play spell card. And then red can special summon a fire, I think level 4 lower fire dragon monster from your deck during the damage step if a monster battles. So definitely need to max out on both of them. Green revives something if he's summoned or if something battles like in the damage step, he can revive a fire level 4 low fire dragon. So 3-3-2 is the standard ratio. We're playing one blaster, dragon ruler of Infernos. So we're mostly playing blaster as a target for gold sarcophagus. Because if you banish blaster with gold sarcophagus, then you can trigger blaster's effect, and then you can search for a fire dragon, making gold sarc essentially a rota in the deck. Since we're mostly trying to go second, we're playing the 1 copy of Pancratops, just very good against stuff like Espilal Knight, and also if your opponent has like set cards like Cosmic or whatever. Came in clutch today against stuff like Apollosa and some back rows. And then we have 1 copy of Magnamut. So it's pretty decent against like Snake Eyes, Fire Kings, and also Voiceless Voice, banishing their light to dark and then allowing you to search in the end phase. Basically another rotor for the deck. So 3 Ash and then three Maxi. And then we're maxing out on our rotor slash E-Tally. If you use it in the battle phase, it's an E-Tally. Yeah, if you use it in the main phase, it just searches and adds to your hand. And then we have our field spell. Basically allows you to search, and then it discards after you search, so not for cost. So if they ash this, you don't lose any cards. Also, during your main phase, your fire dragon monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So in the main phase, you basically get to play for free. And then its third effect is that if it's destroyed in the battle phase, you can double the attack of 1 dragon monster on your side of the field. So that's usually how you OTK your opponent. Field spell, amazing. And then we have 2 desires. I don't know if you've seen some lists in the OCG, but they don't play like any copies of desires, which I think is incorrect. Because as long as you have like one of each, even just like the tuna and like the white one is fine. You can still OTK your opponent. I think having like extra cards is just too important, especially if you're forced to go first by your opponent. So desires very much clutch. But I will admit that I did mess up this evening. I almost got knocked out of the tournament because I got greedy. I opened like a really broken hand with like board breakers, red reboot, engine, talents, core by the grave. Like the hand was lit, so I got greedy with desires. I wanted to activate desires just to, I don't know, get some more cards or whatever. And then I ended up banishing. I had 1 white in my hand, and then I ended up banishing the other 2 whites, and then the only 2 copies of green. So I only like saw when I was like in the battle phase trying to OTK my opponent. I attacked with this card, and then I tried to use the effect, and then I checked my banish pile, and then like I banished the rest of them, and the other one was in the graveyard. So I couldn't kill my opponent, so I literally had to scoop after having essentially game. But I ended up winning like 2-1 after that against Unchained. 2 copies of Call by the Grave. Most people in the OCG don't play Call by the Grave, but it's useful against like Fire Kings, Unchained and stuff like that. You don't really need to be using it on hand traps most of the time. If your opponent max sees you, you just let them max see you because you're just gonna OTK them in the battle phase. There's nothing that they can actually draw that's actually gonna do anything. Even if they draw something like Ghost Ogre, you can just chain like activate this to synchro summon. They chain Ghost Ogre, then you just chain the other one, and then you just synchro summon anyway. So, and then we have 1 copy of this one. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's a TCG name. This card didn't see it this evening, but essentially when you go second, you can excavate cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, I think. And then you add one of those cards to your hand, and then you shuffle one other card, and the rest of the cards you excavated back to the deck. So it's good for consistency, but I didn't see it this evening. And then Monster Reborn, it's very nice if you get disrupted, they destroy your cards, you just summon them back. If they got something useful in their graveyard, you can just summon their monster back, stuff like that. Came in clutch today, Monster Reborn. Then Cold Sock, it's a Rotor. And then of course Harpy's Feather Duster, Prosperity. I saw it once today, but I also drew Desires, so I just ended up like discarding it off of some effect. But it's useful because you can still OTK your opponent even if you Prosperity. You can deal like 30,000 damage, so half that's 15,000. You can still OTK your opponent twice. And then of course Terraforming. Field Spell is very important. Heavy Storm is legal in the OCG, so also Heavy Storm. One copy of Talents. I didn't really want to be like bricking on Talents because sometimes people are not going to activate like monster effects. Especially if they make you go first. They make you go first, you got a bunch of talents in your hand. Some people just choose not to activate anything, and then your field is kind of weak, so then they can easily just like try to OTK you. So just one copy of talents. I drew it quite often today. Came in clutch, the one copy. One copy of Crossout, very good in the mirror match. Good for like sniping impermanences as well. Crossout's decent. Impermanence, 3 copies of it, very nice, turning off negates. And then the 1 copy of Red Reboot, still legal in the OCG. So as long as it's legal, we're gonna playing it in the main deck. I will admit that I'm gonna make a number of changes like to the deck after my experiences this evening. Even though I won, I think the deck can still be improved. And then onto the extra deck. All right, so 1 copy of Seal. I will probably play a second copy of Seal, mainly because they're doing the Protos lock. In the last round, I faced Protos Mannadium, and then I got Protos locked like twice. And one of the ways you can play through that is by having Seal to be able to disrupt your opponent on their turn. So yeah, I think I'll play another copy of Seal. 1 copy of SP Little Knight. Also, because of like Protoss Lock, I need to be playing Striker Dragon in the extra deck. That's one thing that I was missing. Having Striker Dragon just to because you're not going to be able to OTK your opponent if they Protoss lock you. So Striker Dragon and then into SP Little Knight, you can remove like Protoss, and then you have SP's like disruption effect on your opponent's turn as well. So going to be adding back the Striker Dragon after taking it out. And then, of course, we've got like Hita and the Promethean Princess, Raging Phoenix, and then Zelantus. So yeah, it's a bit situational. So if you get like debarriered, and then your opponent has a fire in the graveyard, then you can just go Hita, Princess, and then you can revive your dragon and stuff like that. Revive this one gets this. So you can Zelantus OTK your opponent if you get debarriered, but it's a bit situational. I think playing other links would probably just be better because I did not make these like at all. This evening I didn't make them at all. So probably gonna be removing like the entire package. I just don't think it's necessary. And then onto the synchros. All right, so we got the Mooned Rose Dragon. Very good disruption. You could just end on this as like your disruption as well. If they special summon a monster, then you can just use this to bounce it. And then Black Rose Dragon, very nice for clearing fields, especially if they get kind of cheeky and they set their cards and then go into the battle phase. You can really punish them. Decks like Rescue Ace and what's this Labyrinth. So Black Rose Dragon, clutch. And then we have our Twin Dragon, very nice. You play 2 copies of it. It's very important. I might even like play it like a 3rd copy, just for random times when you get like locked out of the duel or whatever, just to be able to play like a sort of grind game. Baron de Fleur, you can easily make Baron in this deck, even in the battle phase. Didn't make it this evening, but Baron is very useful. And then you have your Trident Dragon, OTKs attacking for 18,000 or 9,000. and then you have your triple head dragon. This guy makes it so one of the ways you can beat a lot of people is by making this in the main phase when you have your field spell up, and then you go into your battle phase, and then in the battle phase they can't activate any any effects at all. So some people they forget about that part of the effect. So when it's in the battle phase, then it's too late, and then you activate your E-tally, and then you get your red, and then that's GG. You just like OTK them with a bunch of summons. And then Ruddy Rose Dragon, very good against fire decks, good against Labyrinth, anything that just likes to keep stuff in the graveyard. Sometimes your opponent has like too many disruptions, so then you just like slam down Ruddy Rose Dragon. You just eliminate all the graveyard resources, and then they're basically just like top decking at that point. And then this one is the other card that you make going first. Usually they just like hold the imperm against this deck, so this card is probably gonna get like impermed. But I do cite some other cards that can help in that regard. If you have this guy plus crossout designator, that's very good. But yeah, is the other card that you make going first, either him or Spheres. You can also make Mooned Rose Dragon. It's not a bad option as well. And that's it for the extra deck. And then onto the side deck. So side deck, very different. 3 Nibiru, the primal being against combo decks. Didn't really want to be playing it in the main deck because a bunch of people are playing like stuff like Flunderies and decks like that where Nibiru is kind of dead. I didn't really want any dead cards, so I just put it in the side deck. And then we're playing like 12 trap cards. Basically, if I have a choice, I will go first. I won't blind second because people will expect that. Game one, I blind second, but game two or three, I choose to go first. So usually side in these heavy hitters. Yeah, these 9 solemn hits, everything like super effectively. Strike as well, and then anti-spell fragrance really slow them down. Yeah, the strategy actually worked quite well today, where I lost the game one or game two. Game three, I just chose to go first. I just sided in like a bunch of trap cards. So Celestial Spheres is actually quite strong. Against Mannadium, I had like Spheres, and then I had Spheres plus like Judgment or something like that, and then yeah. So you normal summon something, I bounce over Spheres, and then I had the Judgment for the Call by the Grave. So that was very nice. Um, yeah. So this side deck is very good. I think the anti spells might be a bit overkill. So I might take these 3 out and just put in like Jordan Lockbird, because I felt like I needed more hand traps against Protos Mannadium, because I think that's the only deck in the format that I really need to stop. Um, yeah, because otherwise I have to side in like D barrier and then also Solemn Strike going second, and then so I can just like normal summon a guy or whatever, and then I can have like D barrier to negate all their synchros and stop them from synchro summoning, and then if they're forced to go into the battle phase, and then I can actually start playing again. Um, but I did feel like I needed something like Lightning Storm or Regeki just to remove all of his monsters, because I think yeah, Protoss Mannadium is probably one deck that I can't let them go first. If they do go first, I need a bunch of stuff to stop them. So I'll probably be adding like Veilers and stuff like that just to stop that deck from going off. Yeah, so these I'll probably cut these because I think it's a bit overkill, to be honest. But otherwise, having like 6 solemns and the D barriers and then Nibiru is definitely very good. So the deck is 40 cards in total. Not planning on going over 40. Just want to make it as consistent as possible. And yeah. Anyways, so that's it for the deck profile. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.